Hey everybody, what's going on? I've decided to do a thorough thoughts on Skyrim. This isn't really a review per se, although I guess it could be construed as such. But for those of you who haven't beaten Skyrim yet, this video will contain some spoilers about Skyrim, so if you haven't beaten it yet, I would suggest not watching this video. So, my memories of Skyrim. Now, Skyrim is an interesting story for me, since, well, I really didn't like Oblivion. I never played Oblivion, but I would watch my brother play Oblivion from time to time, and whenever he was playing it, I would always watch it. Like, it just so happened that I would always watch it when he was talking to some other character. I would just see a random character and some questions on the right side of the screen, and I was like, that looks so boring. Like, for some reason, I think that, like, the lack of any kind of voice work whatsoever for the main character was kind of weird. So, it just looked boring to me. Now, this was back when I didn't understand the game. So, I would say, I think around sometime last summer, my younger brother Nick asked me if I was interested in Skyrim. I'm like, what the hell is Skyrim? And he was like, oh, you haven't heard of Skyrim? Dude, Skyrim it's the sequel to Oblivion. Then I was like, oh, Skyrim sequel to Oblivion. How exciting. Yay. I'm gonna get super excited for that. And at his request, I watched the trailer for Skyrim. I watched that trailer I don't even know how many times, and the same two thoughts came into my head every single time I watched the trailer. Thought number one was, this game looks sick. The graphics look incredible. Like the environment, the trees, the mountains, the dragons, everything looks freaking unreal. It just looks ridiculous in a good way. Thought number two, but it's still gonna play like Oblivion, and I was bored to tears, not literally, but you know, it's an expression. I was bored to tears watching my brother play Oblivion, so why the hell should I get it? And I mean, it looks sick, but it's not going to be, so why bother? But then over the next couple of months, my brother kept on saying, "Dude, you gotta get Skyrim. You gotta like at least play it a little bit." And I was like, I don't want to. Then my friends kept on saying, "Hey, so yeah, have you heard of Skyrim?" And I'm like, what's the big fucking deal about Skyrim? Jesus Christ, I'm sick of hearing about it. So then I was like, fine, I'll ask for Skyrim for Christmas. So I did. I asked for Skyrim for Christmas and I got it. And I was like, yay, cool. So now what game am I getting traded in for? So, but then my brother was like, dude, you got Skyrim, man. You're lucky. Play the game. So I waited about a week before I played the game. And I was bored like hell for the first 4 or 5 hours. But my brother warned me it's going to be slow and boring for the first 5 hours. So he told me to, dude, just please press on, man. Don't give up. So I didn't. And then as I came to understand the game more, I started to like it more. Like, it became like, I would compare this experience to LA Noire. LA Noire, I played the hell out of that game. I stayed on that game like quite literally all day. I just couldn't get off the game. It was incredible. And Skyrim was the same way once I understood it more, you know? Once I understood it, I just couldn't get off the game. Like all the talking to characters and gaining stuff and gaining abilities, like the magic and the weaponry and the one-handed combat and the pickpocketing and the bargaining and the restoration and just everything. Like the game is so much more complex and so much deeper than I could have possibly imagined, and that actually turned out to be a good thing. Now, keep in mind, I don't really like adventure games that much, with the sole exception being The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is the one I have the most fond memories of, because that game is actually in my top 10 favorite games of all time. Majora's Mask, that's a different story. But back to Skyrim, I don't really like adventure games that much, so it's weird. It's kind of weird that I like Skyrim a lot, because it's a game that I wouldn't normally like under normal circumstances. But it's just one of those games that like you just gotta try out. Now, as I advanced further in the game and learned like all like the shouts and like the dragon fights and everything like that, it just became more and more deep, and I was like, this is awesome. Now, there's one thing about the game that I don't like. I didn't like being an errand boy. You know, I just didn't really, I just wasn't really too fond of that. It just seemed like every single time you met somebody, they were like, kill this guy or get me this item. Now, you were over here, and the item would be all the way over here on the other side of the world. And I'm like, there's no way in hell And that was the most annoying part because the place they told me to go to, I hadn't discovered yet. So therefore, I couldn't do a fast travel to there. But so that was an annoying part. But I also like all the clans that you could join, like the ones I remember right now: the Dark Brotherhood, the Thieves Guild. I became members of those because I love stealth, and I love being a hitman. So the Dark Brotherhood like really fit into my alley. I don't remember the name of this clan. I think it starts with a C, but I'm not entirely sure. The clan that you could become a werewolf. That was awesome. Honestly, like, I loved being a werewolf, and like just the transformation into a werewolf, like seeing your character get all tensed up and like curled up like this, and then all of a sudden they turn into a werewolf, and then they go like this and they roar. It's so badass, yo. It's so badass. I loved every single time I morphed into it. Although I really only morphed into it though when I couldn't take all the enemies that were thrown at me, because there were times when there would be like 20 enemies and I just didn't want to deal with them, so I normally transformed into the wolf in order to be stronger and be able to handle them all at once. So, later in the game, when I was finding out about how to kill Alduin, I think the World Eater or something like that, everything about the game was absolutely epic. It kind of reminded me of God of War in a way. Weird because they're like two completely different games, but it reminded me of God of War. And that first battle with Alduin was really annoying. When I first fought him, like, I didn't really get the hang of it, you know what I mean? Like, I had Dragon Rend, but, like, I didn't really know how to use it properly. And, like, and to keep in mind, there was also that other guy, I don't know what his name was. It started with a P, I know that, so I'll just call him the P guy. So, so the P guy was fighting with Alduin in the air, and he would be shouting at me every 2 seconds, use Dragon Rend, it's the only way to beat him. And I would try to, but I would always miss him. And the only way that I could differentiate the two dragons, the P guy and Alduin, is by following the arrow on my, you know, whatever you want to call that top display thing. And like I would shoot, and like I would try to shoot Dragon Rend, like when he was over here, I would try to shoot it like over here, so like when he would fly over here, he would get him, and eventually it did. I must have died like 15 to 20 times because I just couldn't get the hang of it. But then when I got a rhythm, like I trapped him, and then I would beat the hell out of him, and then when he would fly up, he would like hover in the same spot for about 3 to 4 seconds, and then I would shoot Dragon Rend at him, and then he would go down. And then when he retreated, I was like, did I beat him? Did I beat the game? I don't know. So, like, trapping the I don't remember the guy's name. I think it started with an O. But trapping that dragon and like making you tell him where Alduin is, and then going all the way over there, and then fighting those dragons in a little courtyard place. That was so freaking awesome, dude. And that other world kind of place where you're finally like you're making your way to Alduin, and the environment's all dark and sparkly, and the world looks absolutely nothing like any of the other previous worlds you've been in, like during their whole tenure. It was just like, it felt like a dream. It felt like an absolute dream. And then when you finally got to Alduin, like having those three guys help you out, and like it was such an epic experience. It was such a good experience. So bottom line is, Skyrim was an interesting experience for me because I was strongly considering returning the game. But now when I look back on it, I have to be thankful to my younger brother Nick. Nick, you're probably watching this right now, so I just want to say thank you, man. I just want to say thank you, because if you hadn't convinced me to keep the game, I wouldn't have had this epic, incredible experience. This experience with a video game. It was just so incredibly awesome. And the game took a while to beat. I got the game in December, and I just beat it now in February. It took 2 months to beat. and I'm not even sure if I've beaten the game yet, because I beat Alduin, but then like the game didn't end, like there was no like ending cutscene or anything like that. But bottom line is, I'm pretty sure that I have the game completely beat, and it was an incredible experience to say the least. The bottom line is Skyrim, it was an incredible game, and it's worth it to anybody who loves adventure games. Skyrim, man, it's a hell of a game.